His MVP. That's one. Right field. Forget about it. Rangers strike first. Goes after the first one. Drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb in the first. Drive. It's tied. Seager smashes the ball. Down line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field. Way back there. Gone again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Texas Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition, a second edition of Right on Rangers Live today. Oh my goodness, Rangers, after a very active final hour of the trade deadline, laying a bit of an egg tonight. A literal one. Rangers have scored 0 runs so far against the Mariners. Kirby, this guy just is Cy Young. Randy Johnson. Insert whatever dominant pitcher suits your fancy. This guy turns into it during his time playing against the Rangers. George Kirby came into this game with a sub, I think, 160 ERA. Sub 160 ERA against Texas in his career. And here he is, throwing up a 0 once again. Kirby actually not having a great year, by the way. I mean, by his standards, I don't want to say he's doing terrible, but by his standards, not having an awesome year. And here he is dominating Texas. Same old from the Rangers against George Kirby. Thornton in the ballgame right now, and he is going to get Corey Seager swinging. Seager did extend the on-base streak today. That's probably the highlight for the offense at this point. Josh Smith 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. Corey 1 for 3 with a walk, 2 Ks as well. 1 for 3 from Marcus Semien. And Simi up right now. He is going to, looks like, ground out to shortstop. Rangers are quickly down to their final out here. 70 miles an hour off the bat. Crawford, easy throw over to first base. And it is up to Adolis Garcia to try and get a rally going here. 6-run rally. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Jeez. It kind of felt like, honestly, you know, you make the travel day. You get on a plane to Seattle late last night. You get in to Seattle early in the morning hours. It's a day of, you know, people on edge. Am I going to get traded? You know, who really knew what the strategy was going to be exactly going into this day for the Rangers? I'm going to chalk it up to that, man. Just a travel day and then just kind of a day on edge. A lot of guys probably thinking about the deadline instead of thinking about the game. I know maybe it sounds like we're making excuses, but I'm just trying to put myself in that position. It's probably not a super easy day for these guys. Doley is down to final strike here. He's going to take a timeout. 1-2 count right now. What's good, everybody? Thanks for hanging out here Right on Rangers. Y'all know the drill. We cover everything Texas sports. But we put a big emphasis on the Rangers during the MLB season. And we thank you for choosing Right on Rangers for all of your Texas Rangers content. We were going at the trade deadline. We got on about 30 minutes before 5 o'clock Texas time when the deadline hit. And we were live for the Merrill Kelly trade that dropped. We were live for the Maton trade. Of course, we know the Colomb trade is what started things out. But those two trades in the last hour of the deadline, straight fire if you're a Rangers fan. Very, very exciting. I'm hopeful we see Merrill Kelly tomorrow. I don't know if they've announced it yet. It looks like it's lighter tomorrow announced, but I kind of think, just looking at how everything lines up, I kind of think we may end up seeing Merrill Kelly tomorrow night. By the way, weird play. Looks like I don't think we have an injury here. Maybe we do have an injury here. Thornton was chasing after a ground ball from Adolis Garcia. They were really playing Dolly to pull. First base was way off the bag. First base gloved it. Thornton, the Mariners pitcher, he might be injured, man. That might be some kind of ankle injury, man. Jeez. That's not good for Seattle. I mean, I don't know Thornton and how big of a player he is in this bullpen. He's got a 4.68 ERA. He can't be that important. No offense to the guy, no disrespect intended. At least this isn't your, cream of the crop right here. But Thornton getting off the mound just looked like the ankle just gave out on him. And I would imagine he's coming out of this ball game, man. I don't see any way he's staying in. So we might have an injury delay here. Last batter, last out of the game. We might have an injury delay. So, hey, that's all right. Give us a chance to slow things down and talk about today's events. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's not an easy night to hang out. 6-0 ball game. Rangers not winning this one. You're not going to win all 162, as I like to say. You were never going to go 52-0 or 53-0 down the stretch, but it's just unfortunate. And speaking of, this is unfortunate if you're a Mariners fan. They're bringing out the cart for Thornton. This can't be good. I mean, again, this guy has a 4.68 ERA. At least this isn't your main setup man or your closer. That would have been freaking brutal right after the trade deadline. But we're going to bring in a reliever here, and it looks like we're going to have a little injury delay while the new Mariners reliever gets loose. Evan Grant thinks it was an Achilles injury. Evan Grant thinks that was an Achilles injury, by the way. Just got a notification from Evan. Looks like could be an Achilles for Thornton. Unfortunate, man. Very unfortunate. Let me check YouTube here. I know I've been neglecting you guys a little bit. Yeah, look, obviously you're in a 6-0 ball game. You got 2 outs. Yeah, this one's not going to go the Rangers' way. That would be the most epic comeback I've ever seen if the Rangers can figure out a way to get this done. Would have been nice for the Rangers to go get a bat. That was kind of my big concern. Josh, I'm with you on that. Why didn't we go get bats, right? I think that's what a lot of Rangers fans are thinking about. Might be easy to kind of overreact to that after watching today's game, but I still agree. You guys, I mean, I don't have to say too much. Y'all saw the videos that I put out. I put out multiple videos. Go get a bat. I put out the Taylor Ward video. I put out multiple videos on the Rangers going out and not counting on the guys that they have alone to be what gets them over the finish line. I really wanted to see Texas go get a righty bat. They could still do it. Obviously, there's the waiver deadline, and there's an opportunity to trade for guys. Again, I brought up the circumstance with Justin Verlander when he was with the Tigers. You remember the Astros after the deadline picked up Verlander. So there are instances after the trade deadline where you can still work out trades for certain players that clear waivers. And so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Maybe the Rangers still have something up their sleeve with the bats. That being said, if you just look internally, Cody Freeman's hitting really well down in AAA. I would be shocked if he is down there for too much longer. He was 9 for his last 14. I don't know what he did tonight, but I think that the Rangers have some options. And really, when you think about it, I mean, you go to the box score today. Jock Peterson had a walk, I know, in the first or second inning. Maybe it was the second inning. 0 for 2, though, still hitless. I think that it might be as simple as subtracting some guys out of the lineup to make this better, honestly. I don't know how much longer you're going to hang with Jock Peterson in the lineup. Maybe the walk today really helped things out and helped ease some concerns. It didn't for me, but I'm just trying to think about it from the coaching perspective here. Maybe they're going to say they like the way he looked up there and they like the eye up at the plate. I don't know. For me, I think that you're probably going to see an improvement just removing some of these guys from the lineup that are slumping. Jock Peterson being one of them. I know he's only had a few games since the IL. Maybe he's just shaking off the rust, and we are going to see the most epic heater you've ever seen. I'm just trying to speak it into existence at this point. Look, you could send Jock to AAA, and here's how. We talked about this, I think, in the afternoon for the trade deadline show. I don't think anybody is picking up Jock Peterson on waivers. If you DFA Jock, nobody is going to be picking up Jock and trying to pick up that salary. At least I don't think so. I really find it hard to believe anybody, if you DFA Jock, is going to pick him up. So I feel like after he clears waivers, he's not going to elect free agency. Bro is going to want to get paid. So he's probably going to take that assignment to AAA. I don't think he's going to like it, but I think he's going to want to continue to get paid his $18.5 million a year. We'll see what happens with Jock Peterson. All right, we keep going. Rangers do, Kenny, they do just have a problem beating the Mariners. I've said this so many times. The Northwest is a low-key house of horrors for Texas. Like, they just cannot string together consistent wins season after season in this place. And we were joking about it in the Discord, like, blame the stupid batter's eye all you want. Come on, man. I don't want to hear no stupid batter's eye excuse. I really don't. Hey, DJ, appreciate you subscribing for the first time, my man. That helped cheer me up a little bit. Thank you. Hey, DM me after the show. I want to get you in that Discord, man. I'm going to love having your voice in there. That's going to be awesome. That's awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate the generosity, my guy. Thanks so much. You're on fire today. Gave some gifts earlier in the show. Becoming a paid subscriber, man. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jake, I appreciate you showing up, man. Hey, good game for you guys. Good game for you guys. Swaggerty, by the way, he is the last hope, and he is going to be retired here for the final out. That was painted. That was painted on the inner half, and Swaggerty goes down. Hey, game one is in the books. I'm glad that this one mercifully came to an end. It was not a good game for the Rangers offense, really, or pitching. I think Latz, Rocker, they've seen better days. I think it is going to be a good series. I think Merrill Kelly will be pitching in this series. You're going to get Merrill Kelly and DeGrom in this series. You're not going to get Evo, but you're at least going to get Merrill Kelly and DeGrom. I said going into the series, I'd be very happy with the 2-2 split. I did not think we were going to sweep this series. I didn't really feel confident we were going to win this series. I thought it was possible, and I still think it is possible to get a 2-2 split. And I think you will take that all day long playing up in Seattle. With how hard it's been for the Rangers to string together wins here over the years, I think you'll take a 2-2 split. So, look, I take confidence. We got DeGrom on Saturday, either Kelly on Friday tomorrow or Kelly on Sunday. And I am pumped to watch Merrill Kelly's Rangers debut. You've got a shot. You were not going to sweep this series. That would have been a miracle. That would have been a miracle from God, man. It really would have. I had no assumption that the Rangers were going to win 4 straight here. That would have been heavenly. I did not think that was going to happen for 1 second. I think if you're a Rangers fan, the 2-2 split is a very reasonable goal here. It would really, really go a long way to get a win tomorrow, and then you got a 50-50 shot Saturday, Sunday. Go a long way to get a win. Winning 2 straight against Seattle, not the easiest thing to do in their home, but still not impossible. You lose tomorrow, you can still get Saturday, Sunday. You got DeGrom Saturday. Maybe they push the Kelly start back to Sunday. I don't think they're going to mess with DeGrom on Saturday. They've really preferred to keep DeGrom in exactly the rhythm that they want for him. I don't see them pushing back DeGrom for Kelly. I see Kelly either starting Friday or starting on Sunday. By the way, hey, on YouTube and on TikTok, could you guys repost comments for me if there's something you want me to get to, just so I don't have to scroll? I appreciate it. It's been a long day for me, man. 2 shows, work, a little bit of everything. And so I appreciate it, man. Give me that comment one more time. Hey, Astros fans got to be happy with the Correa deal. One of my really good buddies that I coach football with, I think I've told you guys I coach football here in the fall, so I start getting a little bit busier here. Baseball is the first love. I've coached baseball too. Right now, I'm kind of focusing on this channel, and then I like to do my football coaching in the fall, which really kind of kicks up a little bit more in September, October, but we're doing like preseason stuff right now. So anyways, it's a busy day for me. Busy day, but I appreciate all you guys hanging out. Yeah, middle school, 7th, 8th grade. It's a good age. I've done the high school a little bit, but I like the 7th and 8th grade. I like the fundamentals. I like that age. They're a little more moldable. High school's fun because it's more competitive, and you just get better athletes. It's the same way with baseball, right? Baseball, you get into high school baseball coaching, it's fun because you got some really good athletes, really high skill levels. But I've always been drawn to coaching more that middle school age. You've got good quality competition, but the kids are a little bit more moldable. You really can lock in with them on those fundamentals. And I just enjoy it. It's been a lot of fun for me over the years, coaching football, coaching baseball. But anyways, bringing it back to the main point. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a long day. And so thank you for reposting those comments for me. Appreciate the follow, man. Alan, thank you, my guy. Appreciate that. Brutal loss today, for sure. Look, I got to say, not totally unexpected. Brutal, maybe I wouldn't even say brutal, to be honest with you, because this loss, going into it, you really kind of felt like the Rangers had an uphill battle, right? George Kirby was outstanding tonight, and he's been outstanding almost every time he's pitched against Texas. I can't say that I was shocked to see him dealing. I didn't get to watch like the first 2 innings because of practice, but look, I wasn't surprised in the third, fourth inning to see 0 next to Texas on my MLB app. I really didn't. Really didn't. But no, look, overall effort, you would have loved to have seen the Rangers come out and show a little more fight. But I do think you can call it excuses if you want. We can agree to disagree. I call this realities. Texas got into Seattle super early this morning. They were talking about it on the radio. Got in super early this morning. You had kind of an emotional, heavy day. Guys not knowing potentially if they were going to be traded or not. And you know, a lot of those guys, even the guys that are sure they weren't going to get traded, a lot of guys are checking their phone. They're not locked in, man. I guarantee a bunch of those dudes are checking their phone and not fully focused as they normally would be. Corey Seager, probably notwithstanding. Siegs is a freaking robot. But I'm sure some of the young guys were on the phone checking things out. And look, Seattle, obviously they had similar, but they were a little bit closer. Seattle was in Sacramento last, playing the A's. So, look, maybe a little less travel, not much, right? LA to Seattle versus Sacramento to Seattle, not that big of a difference. They had the same circumstances, in my opinion. But that's what I'm going to chalk it up to. Just not a great game. And they played a pitcher that they have not fared well against. Kind of a combination of things for Texas. But didn't think you were going to win 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4 in this series. My expectations were let's get a split. And I think that is still very much within our grasp. You got DeGrom and you've got Merrill Kelly, who are still going to be pitching in this series. I'm feeling confident the Rangers can get 2. I think they will probably drop one more game in this series. I think the Rangers can get 2. What really hurt, John, and I appreciate the comment, my guy. Always good to see you on the show. What really hurt is you had that first inning, right? I didn't get to see the first inning, but I watched a little bit of the replays, and I went back and looked at some of the ABs. Didn't they have first and second, nobody out in the first inning? Didn't they have first and second, nobody out, like in the first or second inning, something like that? And it's just like classic Texas. Can't move the guy over. Can't even get the runner over to third base with nobody out. Can't have the productive outs. And then from there, it just gets harder and harder. When you don't get to a pitcher early like that and they get out of a jam, it almost feels like it's 9 out of 10. They're probably going to lock in the rest of the game. I feel like actually, Dan, they've had a little bit more. The Rangers, I feel like they've had a little more success against Gilbert for whatever reason. I feel like Gilbert has actually been a guy that the Rangers have been able to get to. He's a very, very good pitcher. Very good pitcher. But I do feel like the Rangers have had a little more success off of Logan Gilbert than they have off of George Kirby. George Kirby, again, dude looks like Pedro Martinez against us at times, it feels like. I mean, unhittable. There's not a lot of Rangers players with good track records against George Kirby. Cooper, I'm with you. It was bad with runners in scoring position. Yeah, Jacob, I'm kind of wondering if Kelly gets the start tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe they stick with Leiter. I'm kind of wondering if they might insert Merrill Kelly as the starting pitcher tomorrow. Kind of depends on what's going on with Merrill. But Merrill was in Sacramento, right? The Diamondbacks, I think, were flying to Sacramento. So Merrill Kelly should be in this neck of the woods. So I think it's pretty reasonable Merrill Kelly pitches tomorrow, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Again, with him being so close, my only rebuttal would be, and look, we're just going back and forth for fun here. Who cares? If he starts Sunday, that's great too. So I got no horse in the race here. If he starts Sunday, that's great too. At least he gets one start in this series. I'm good with that. But with him being so close, again, Diamondbacks were literally flying a night or two ago. I think last night, I think it was yesterday, they were flying to Sacramento. So unless he stayed behind, which I don't think he did, because at that point, he hadn't been traded yet. So I bet he's in Sacramento. Quick flight over to Seattle. Probably could start tomorrow. He hasn't pitched since July 26th. So he's rested. I think he could throw tomorrow. I would love for him to throw tomorrow. I would much, much rather see him throw tomorrow than Jack Leiter. I think right now I'm kind of at the point, I wish these rookies were spaced out a little bit more, because you just don't know what you're getting from start to start with them sometimes. I wish they were a little more spread out instead of back-to-back. You got to have back-to-back games where there's a lot of question marks. Are we going to get Jack Leiter, who's in control, has the put-away pitches working, or are we going to get Jack Leiter that's walking guys and going 8, 9, 10 pitch deep with the ABs to certain hitters? I'd kind of like for the two of them to be split out, to be spread out a little bit more in the rotation. But look, I think this was probably Kumar Rocker's last start for the foreseeable future. I do not think that he is going to be maintained in the starting rotation. I don't think he's going to get sent down. I do think he's going to become a bullpen piece. I think that his 2-pitch mix plays a little bit better in small doses than 5, 6. And I'm saying he can't be a starter. I'm not giving up on him as a starter. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. But what I am saying is, I think temporarily you can see the silver lining in Kumar moving to the bullpen. I do think the fastball off-speed combo that he's got definitely can play. You've got upper 90s fastball. There are a lot of positives, I think, to Kumar Rocker going to the pen. And I think in the short term, you're not going to stunt his development. You still are going to probably work on things with him in the offseason and continue to gear him up, getting better and better as a starting pitcher. But I think for right now, I think it's okay to have him out in the pen. And you bring in Merrill Kelly into the rotation. You got Tyler Mahle coming back probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So there's a lot of positives with the Rangers rotation at this point. I think that the rookies, and I know Jack Leiter's not a rookie anymore, so, I mean, let's be technically correct here. The young guys in the rotation have held it down okay while there's been injuries and guys out. I'm definitely ready to watch Merrill Kelly and watch some of the veterans get back in action, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Rocker, I'm not getting on him for, like crazy for this game today. Don't take it the wrong way. I just think for the foreseeable future, Rocker's probably going to find himself in the pen. There's going to be an odd man out. And look, Jack Leiter, I think a little bit more experience in the league. I think Jack has looked more consistent if you're just comparing the two. I think Jack probably sticks around. But then when Tyler Mahle comes back, I think Jack might go to the bullpen. I don't think they want to bump Patrick Corbin to the bullpen. I think Corbin's been arguably one of your most consistent starters. I don't think you're bumping Corbin to the pen and keeping Jack Leiter. I think you're going to have Jack Leiter, hard thrower that he is, and Jack can hit 100. I think you probably want that in the bullpen over Patrick Corbin at this point. Yeah, look, for this question, the question is, why didn't the Braves get calls on Ozuna and Iglesias? The Braves were kind of like weirdly buying those, so I'm almost kind of wondering, did they want to hold on to those guys? I mean, Iglesias maybe more so than Ozuna, because Ozuna's a half-season rental. I feel like maybe the injury scared some teams away. Plus, Ozuna's been in a little bit of a slump over the past month of the season. So I wonder if teams kind of cooled a little bit like I did on Ozuna down the stretch with the hip injury that he's managing in combination with a little bit of a slump from him over the past month. Now, this is a decent point, Dan. I do think it's a possibility that he could clear waivers and the Rangers potentially work out a trade for him. And by the way, we're going to do a show when it gets a little bit closer, and we're going to explain this process, how you acquire players post-deadline. I know a lot of y'all, a lot of the diehards probably know, so I definitely am not trying to talk down to anybody. But not everybody's up on all the nuances of Major League Baseball when it comes to trades and transactions and roster and DFA, 40-man, 26-man active. You know how it is. Some people have got it on lock. Some people need a little extra help. So I'll explain and take y'all to school on that probably in the coming days. The deadline still not quite around for that waiver trade period, if you will. That's what I kind of call it to keep it simple. So it is an option. It is an option. We could still get Ozuna for sure. All right, let's keep going. One thing that I did want to talk about, and you look, maybe you guys feel differently about this than I do, but I'll say I was a little disappointed in the DFAs today. It's a little disappointed. If you didn't hear, with the trades, with the acquisitions, the Rangers DFA'd Dustin Harris and they DFA'd Blaine Crim. So those guys were on the 40-man. Rangers needed to make room on the 40-man roster for the new acquisitions coming in, and they DFA'd both of those young guys. I really feel like there were other guys that you probably could have DFA'd over Blaine Crim or Dustin Harris. First of all, I don't feel like Blaine Crim got a very long runway at all to show what he's got, and the guy hits really well down at AAA. I don't think he's played enough in the big leagues for you to be able to call him a quad A player. And he hasn't gotten 2 straight weeks of starts. Talking about Blaine Crim and Dustin Harris getting DFA'd today as a result of some of the trades. Yeah, Duran 100%. Duran 100%. The other guy a lot of people were bringing up was Bosley. What about Bosley? Do you DFA a guy like Bosley and then Duran? I think that could have worked too. I really thought there were some other guys that you probably could have DFA'd over Dustin Harris and Blaine Crim. I like those guys a lot. I mean, you guys know I'm a little bit more of a minor league watcher than maybe the average Rangers fan. I mean, I do this for a living, so I kind of have to, but I've enjoyed watching those two guys play. I got to watch them live in person a couple weeks ago when they were in Vegas. Dustin Harris, man, there's a lot to like about Dustin Harris. I highly doubt that those guys are not going to get claimed. I would imagine there are going to be teams that gobble those guys up pretty quick. It would shock me if Dustin Harris and Blaine Crim cleared waivers. If they clear waivers, by the way, again, just to kind of help some people out that might be a little confused, if they clear waivers, they can go back to AAA. And then the Rangers, if they wanted to move those guys back to the 40-man, would have to DFA somebody currently on the 40-man right now. There's probably a very small chance that one of the two guys doesn't get picked up. Maybe both of them won't. I really doubt that there's going to be 0 teams interested in Dustin Harris and Blaine Crim. Zeke, I think, would have been the obvious DFA. I personally have seen plenty of Zeke. I think easily you could have had one of those guys stay on the 40-man and DFA'd Zeke. Let's keep going. Jack is very young. He can become a better starter, just needs some time to develop. 100%. Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter, long-term, I'm not worried about those guys. I'm not worried about those dudes long-term. Short-term, though, I do think both of them are going to find their way to the bullpen. I don't think you're going to AAA those guys because their stuff is major league ready. They just need to work on command and poise, and Jack Leiter specifically mastering the put-away pitches. I think both those guys are going to find their way to the bullpen and hopefully have a lot of success pitching 1, pitching 2 innings. That would be outstanding because when Tyler Mahle comes back, you are not going to have a need for Jack Leiter. If you keep Jack Leiter in the rotation, again, Mahle comes back, I think you keep Corbin over Jack Leiter. Regardless of the development and all of that, Patrick Corbin has been so dang consistent. You don't want to move Corbin out of the rotation. Dude gives you a chance to win like every time he pitches. Jack Leiter, you can't really say the same thing at this point. And now that we're getting into the last 2 months of the season, I think you can confidently move these guys to the bullpen when the time comes and feel like you're not messing up their development. I know there's a little bit of a worry about that. You take them out of the starting pitching role, you mess up their development. I didn't want to see the Rangers do that from the jump at the beginning of the season. Now that they've gotten all these starts under their belt, we're getting into the nitty-gritty. We're getting to the stretch run, playoff race. I'm okay if you move them back to the pen. Curvelo, we're going to talk about Curvelo. Dan, appreciate you bringing him up. Curvelo, Luis Curvelo, first major league appearance, and my guy was nails. 2 innings. Let's see. Let's get to the box score. I'll get it for you guys. 2 innings, 1 hit, 3 Ks. Hello. Outstanding. You love that for a guy making his major league debut. You love that. So happy for him. Hopefully he can be a guy that can help us out as well. We got plenty of bullpen help. You got Danny Colomb. You also got Phil Maton. You've got plenty of bullpen help at this point. But you would absolutely love to see Curvelo continue to pitch well. Hey, good game, Rylan. Hey, if you're a Mariners fan hanging out, first of all, appreciate you being here. Thank you for the support of the channel. Enjoy the win. Hopefully this can be a good back-and-forth series. This game wasn't particularly competitive towards the end. Pretty tight game, honestly, until about the bottom of the 5th inning. But nevertheless, hopefully the rest of these games can be a little bit tighter, a little bit closer. Kyle, I'm with you, man. I know. I really don't understand why Freeman isn't at the major league level. Hey, Big Game James, what's good, man? Appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you showing up, my guy. Let's look at the Mariners real quick. What did Suarez do tonight? Did he have a knock? 1 for 4? Okay, 1 for 4 with the run scored. Had a double. That's right. He doubled off Rocker. Remembering that now. All right, good debut for him. Josh Naylor had a knock. So Naylor and Suarez hitting 4-5 in that lineup. There you go. There you go. It's a formidable lineup. It is a formidable lineup for sure. They have got some studs. 1 through 5 looks real good. Polanco, I like Polanco as well. Ken Zone is coming along. He had 2 base hits. Rangers have had a lot of problems with the bottom of the order of late. I tweeted about this during the game. The bottom of the order for the Angels in the Angels series crushed us in that DeGrom game. And now the bottom of the order collects 5 hits off of Texas pitching. Like, you're just not going to win a lot of ball games when you allow the opposing team's bottom of the order to rake like the Mariners 7, 8, 9 did tonight. Canzone, Crawford, Young. Young had a triple and a home run. Dude had 7 total bases tonight. Like, you're not going to win games when you allow the bottom of the order to rake like this. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if guys are like relaxing when they see 7, 8, 9 coming up. It's not like the 7, 8, 9 hitters have bad averages. I mean, Young has a pretty low OPS. Crawford, 718 OPS. Canzone, 817. I don't know. I don't know how you can take these guys for granted. They got pretty good numbers. Mariners have a good lineup up and down. Look, Rocker did well through probably the first 5, I would say maybe even 4.5 innings. But it kind of started unraveling after that a little bit. And, you know, look, Latz did not do any favors coming in, walking, allowing the 2 or 3 straight hits. Just wasn't the best day for Rangers pitching, minus Luis Curvelo, who pitched wonderfully in his major league debut. Really, really impressed with George Kirby. I've been a big fan of his. Look, I definitely have my guys that I like watching. Just enjoy watching them play the game. George Kirby's been one of them. I don't love watching him do it against my team that I love, but I do like watching George Kirby a lot. Hasn't been that great this year. Big Game James, any of the Mariners fans, what's been going on with Kirby? Like, what's with the high ERA? He was 4.50 ERA coming into this one. I know he hasn't pitched a ton. I know that he was injured to start the season, so he probably doesn't have a ton of innings. Let's see how many he has. Okay, he started 13 games, so 72 innings. I mean, that's a fair amount. But what's been going on? What's his biggest problem? Why has the ERA been so high? Just had some bad games. It's been inconsistent. I just like watching him pitch, man. I don't know what it is. I know we all got our guys that we enjoy watching play the game. I just enjoy the way he pitches. I think, obviously, he's got really good stuff. Maybe been a little bit up and down this season, but, yeah, he was dealing tonight. He was dealing tonight, for sure. The deeper the season goes, the weaker he gets. I guess that's good news for Texas. I don't know. I just think whenever this guy sees Texas across the chest, he just turns into a totally different pitcher, man. A dominant one at that. All right, Kirby, very emotional, can lose it mentally fast. All right, that's piecing it together a little bit because I've only known George Kirby. I mean, dude's a first-round pick, right? I know that us Rangers fans, we don't know probably a ton about opposing players. And look, I know quite a few players from the AL West, but I'm not going to act like a savant of other teams' players. But I remember Kirby, first round pick, right? When was that? Probably like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? First round pick. I remember when he got drafted by the Mariners out of a smaller college, right? Elon or something like that. I forget what it was. Anyways, George Kirby's been a really good pitcher for Seattle and obviously has killed it against Texas. So hopefully Rangers can figure out something if they got to face this guy in the playoffs. Isn't this the last series, or we got one more? We got one more series, or is this the last one? We've already played 10, right? Feels like this got to be the last series. Everybody says that, by the way, Jake. Yeah, I just hit my 40-second home run. Then I decided to hop on the Rangers pod. 40-second bomb dropped. Now let's shift gears and do a Rangers podcast. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. All right, let's get back to Rangers here. We've given George Kirby enough flowers for the evening. Man, I really hope Thornton is okay. Is that have anybody gotten any updates on Thornton? Is that an Achilles? That looked nasty coming off the mound for that PFP. That looked nasty, man. Woo! That did not look good. No updates yet. Okay. Feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for the guy. Like, it looked brutal. Him coming off the mound quick like that. It's tough. It's tough. You're probably going to be out most of next year with that Achilles. I mean, that is typically like a year-long thing. So feel bad for the guy. Doesn't look like he was having a killer season like we said when the game was live, but feel awful for him. All right, let's keep going. Brian says, if we don't make the postseason, how much of a regret was buying? Look, it's going to be big. If you don't make the postseason, going to get Merrill Kelly giving up 3 top 15 prospects, that's not good. That is not good, man. So Rangers, they have got to figure it out. If you give up 3 top 15 prospects for a half-season rental, you better make the playoffs. And preferably, you better make a really deep run. I tweeted it out. I think it was right before the game started tonight, just continuing to talk about the trade deadline. Like, the Merrill Kelly trade is an overpay. I think we all can agree on that. They overpaid for Merrill Kelly. I guarantee they got into a bidding war. I think Boston was also really wanting his services. There's probably one dark horse team that we didn't know about. I think they got into a little bit of a bidding war, and I think they overpaid for Merrill Kelly. You know how you make the trade not an overpay? You go win a World Series. And I know maybe that sounds wild, but there's no other way to justify the Merrill Kelly trade unless you win a World Series. Dude is going to be here half a season. Maybe they feel good about re-signing him. I guess if they re-sign him, it becomes a little bit better, but Merrill Kelly is not like a young, spry George Kirby. I mean, this guy is not in his 20s. I think Kirby's 26 or 27. Merrill Kelly, a little bit older than that. So, look, I don't know. I think you got to win a World Series for the Merrill Kelly trade to feel worth it. Not getting a bat, yeah, Zach, I'm with you on that one. Like, I really wanted to see and fully expected Texas to get a bat in the waning hours, the waning moments of the trade deadline. And it just never came. We were sitting around here twiddling our thumbs like it was 5 o'clock. It was 5:05, 5:10. I'm like, surely they put something into the league office at like 4:59, and we're going to get that notification. You know, Ozuna or whoever else was still available, right? There were a couple of other bats. They pulled Stephen Kwan off. The Guardians did, so I knew Kwan wasn't going to be an option. But there were a couple of guys that maybe still were out there for the taking. It is disappointing. I will say this. Let's pump the brakes. It's one game. George Kirby has the Rangers number. Let's pump the brakes. I think it's easy to overreact to not getting a bat. Let's just see what happens down the stretch. I'm with you. I definitely don't want to push aside anybody feeling bad about not getting a bat. I did too. But I'm willing to give it a shot. And you bring up maybe a Cody Freeman that's hot in AAA. You let him cook a little bit here and there with spot starts. maybe kind of playing a little bit of a right-handed Josh Smith role. I'd love to see Cody Freeman in that spot. By the way, update on this. Did y'all see Josh Young not in the lineup? And we kind of talked about that on the trade deadline show, but Josh Young dealing with a little bit of an injury. I believe that's correct. Can somebody help me out? What was the specific injury for Josh Young? I'll see if I can figure it out on the show live here. But let me know if you were able to see what was the ailment. Sore calf. Got it. Sore calf for Josh Young. So we'll see. I'm going to pull up Dallas Morning News right now and see if we can get any information. I'm probably going to get paywalled here. Oh, no, I didn't get paywalled. All right, sweet. All these newspaper websites are always paywalling you for like everything, man. It's so annoying. You got to buy like 9 million subscriptions. I do the reader view thing, but sometimes I can't even get around it that way. All right, so let's see if there was any quote on the injury. Rangers were prepared for him to miss a couple of games, but don't think it will warrant an IL stint. And we've heard that before, Rangers fans. It's not going to warrant an IL stint. Then like 4 games later, it's like, where is that dude? And then the next day he gets on the IL, right? We got to know the drill a little bit. I'm not saying that they're dishonest. I'm just saying, look, I don't fully trust that an IL stint is not going to be required. I hope that this is correct. I hope it is, but I'll believe it when I see it. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and accuse the Rangers. I know there's a lot of tinfoil hat fans that think the Rangers are just constantly dishonest about this kind of thing. I just think sometimes teams get a little overly optimistic, and I'm just not going to be surprised. A calf injury, like, those are not super easy to manage all the time. The calf muscle is kind of important when you're playing the game of baseball. This isn't like, a pinky or a middle finger. You can still kind of work around some things like that. I mean, this is a muscle that you use literally to do everything. Josh Young, by the way, is the guy we're talking about right now. Anybody coming in brand new to the show, Josh Young was not in the lineup tonight, and they're saying calf injury. He'll be out a couple of games, so we probably won't see him tomorrow. We're going to preview the matchup for tomorrow, by the way, go through each pitcher against each opposing lineup. There may be a little bit of a twist if Merrill Kelly decides he is ready to pitch, and I think that's probably what the Rangers are going off of. I don't think the Rangers are deciding that one. I think they're going to have Merrill Kelly, pitch whenever he's ready. So it is about time for him to throw based on when he threw last. So I think we'll see Kelly either tomorrow night or we'll see him Sunday. That would be my prediction. Skylar Hales, yep. Look, the Rangers, they also traded, I think, the 27th and 28th prospects in their organization for Phil Maton. So you traded Hales, you traded Molina, former Arkansas Razorback. So you did make some trades, and you got some guys in the top 30 leaving the organization. The Rangers are in win-now mode, so I've never been a fan of hoarding prospects when you're in win-now mode. So I think the only overpay, in my view, is the Merrill Kelly trade, and you make that trade look better by winning a World Series or potentially re-signing Kelly to maybe a 2 or 3 year deal. I don't know what Merrill Kelly is going to command on the open market. If you're able to re-sign Merrill Kelly, again, I feel a little bit better about the trade. We'll see what they're able to do. We keep going. Giving Jack more rest wouldn't be the worst thing. I think they're probably going to move him to the bullpen eventually, Natalie. Good to see you, by the way. Appreciate the comment. I think he'll be in the rotation for a few more weeks until Tyler Mahle comes back. But I think eventually he'll probably head to the pen if I had to guess. Yeah, Merrill Kelly is definitely a good pickup. Green Arrow, what's good? Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you again. Look, we've got a number of trades, I think, that we pulled off over the last 3-4 years. Some have been definite overpays. I think considering Merrill Kelly is one of the better pitchers in the game, you go out and get him. And look, the Rangers, here's kind of the idea here. Skeebs, what's good, man? Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you. The idea with getting Merrill Kelly, by the way, because I know some Rangers fans were kind of thinking, why Merrill Kelly, right? Why get a starting pitcher? I think when the big name relievers went off of the trade block, I think the strategy shifted a little bit, right? You weren't able to get Bednar. You weren't able to get some of the big relievers, Duran, obviously Clase going on the restricted list for the gambling stuff. That wasn't going to work. I think once the top names came off of the trade block, bullpen-wise, the strategy shifted to, we're going to beat you with starting pitching. We're going to beat you by letting our starters get deeper in the games. We're going to take some stress off of the bullpen. And look, they went out and got bullpen pieces, but I think the strategy shifted a little bit. You went out and you got Merrill Kelly when some of the big name relievers went off the market, and you're going to try and beat teams with really elite starting pitching. I don't think it's necessarily a panic. I really don't. I don't think it's a panic. I think that it's a great pickup. I actually think that you probably needed this in hindsight. I think you needed a Merrill Kelly type if you really wanted to have success deep into October. You were going to have to rely on Tyler Mahle to stay healthy, to still be the same guy that he was the first 2 months of the season, or you were going to have to rely on Patrick Corbin and the two super young guys. And I like having this third ace, if you will, Merrill Kelly. And I think the Rangers are going to make the playoffs. I don't think I'm at the point where they're not going to get in. I think they will get in. But I don't think that the Merrill Kelly move is a panic move. I think it is a strategy that is legitimate considering what was off the market, what had already been traded. I think it's CY wanting to make sure you have a little insurance for Tyler Mahle, for Kumar Rocker, for Jack Leiter. I'm good with it. You got to win a World Series or you got to re-sign him. Like, if those two things or one of those two things don't happen, I think it goes down as a pretty bad trade. But I guess it kind of depends on how Cole Drake and how Mitch Bratt and how David Hageman, how all of those guys end up. Right? How do those guys develop? Do they become really good starting pitchers in Major League Baseball? If yes, then I think the trade hurts. If no, then you're probably saying it was for the best. Thoughts on Bosley? Yeah, I think Bosley was a guy that they probably could have DFA'd and kept Dustin Harris or Blaine Crim. I mean, that to me was a little surprising. I thought for sure when it came to DFAs, Bosley would probably be high up there. Gio, I'm with you. Scoring first always goes a long way. Always goes a long way. Zach, are you saying like they have Seattle like second best trade deadline? Like they had the second best trade deadline? I could see that. I mean, they went out and got the best bat on the market. Makes sense. I did know, Dan, that we were in the running for Bednar. I think we just got outbid at the last second. But I did know that we were in the running, yes. All right, let's keep going. What do we got? Peterson needs to be benched. Matt, appreciate the comment. I think that he probably will be. Like, he's going to get some chances in this Mariners series. I think they are probably going to bench him if he does not figure it out in this Mariners series. Chance that we see the new relievers tomorrow depends on the game. I feel like both those guys are leads relief pitchers, if that makes sense. I feel like both those guys are coming in with leads. I don't think those guys are guys you throw in with a 2-3 run deficit. I think Maton and I think maybe Colomb you use in maybe a 1 or 2 run deficit. I think Maton is probably going to end up doing some high leverage with the lead. But I think that Colomb, he very well may be a guy that they use to keep games close. You're down 1, you're down 2. We'll see. We will see. When do we switch the lineup up a little bit? Bill, appreciate the comment. I think that the lineup is going to continue to get shuffled around. I mean, think about it. You're going to have Jake Berger coming back in a little bit. You have Jock Peterson slumping. You don't know if he's going to get out of it. And you've got a couple other Rangers that are maybe flying a little bit below the radar. Like, honestly, Jock Peterson draws a lot of attention. A lot of people are focusing on Jock. The reality is we've got a number of players that are not playing super well right now. I mean, I'll go up and down the lineup with you right now. Josh Smith, 0 for 4, 3 Ks. I mean, you look at Josh Smith's stats over his last 15 games. Dude has a 606 OPS. over his last 15 games. That's not good. That's below average, right? That's our leadoff hitter. Then you go to, let's go to Wyatt Langford right now. Wyatt was 0 for 3 tonight, did put the ball in play every single time. But Wyatt Langford, you look at his last 15 games, Wyatt Langford has a 569 OPS over his last 15 games. I mean, look, my point is Jock draws a lot of negative attention, and it's kind of taking some of the onus off of these other guys that we have that are actually really struggling. And I'm not saying bench Wyatt Langford, bench Josh Smith, but what I am saying is the Rangers definitely don't have a killer lineup, and then there's Jock Peterson. There's actually a number of guys on the team that are struggling right now, and Jock just happens to be getting the brunt of it. Liam, no. I don't feel super confident in Jack tomorrow. I really actually hope we get the notification that Merrill Kelly is going to be coming in. Look, you guys don't hear me say, when we do the preview, you guys don't hear me say a lot, like, I don't feel super great. I don't feel awesome about tomorrow's game if Jack Leiter started. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd love to eat crow, but I just don't feel super great going into the game tomorrow with Jack Leiter. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you're feeling real good and you think Jack's going to have a killer game. I just kind of feel like Seattle, Jack Leiter, a good Seattle lineup, a quality Seattle lineup. I think it's going to be tough for Jack. I would love to be wrong. He proved me wrong in that Houston game. Actually, I think in the Houston game before the All-Star break, I actually said I thought he was going to pitch well. Maybe I'm just making that up. It has been a long day, but I can't say I feel super great right now. Maybe I'm just tired and the positive energy is a little lower than what it usually is, but I just feel like tomorrow is going to be a tall order for Jack Leiter, especially with the addition of Eugenio Suarez. Like you definitely feel like Jack has the stuff to get guys out in the Mariners lineup, but can he be consistent? Can he throw strikes? Can he get that put out pitch working and not go super deep into counts? I think it's a little bit of a 50-50 shot. Who needs to step up tomorrow? I want to see some of the guys that I just called out. Like, I want to see Wyatt Langford have a great game. I want to see Josh Smith really start playing well from the leadoff spot. We've got to get Josh Smith in a consistent run. He had a nice game the other day, don't get me wrong. But really, I think the three guys that stand out to me, I mean, the obvious one is maybe Jock Peterson, but I'd really love to see Evan Carter and Wyatt and Josh really get hot. I mean, that would be a beautiful thing for this lineup, be a beautiful thing to watch. I've said it so many times, like if the young guys start killing it, this lineup is going to get scary really fast. But with Langford and with Carter not quite at their full peak potential, I think you're always going to see a little bit of a lesser version of this offense. And yeah, Jock Peterson doing his offers doesn't help either. It really doesn't help either. Do I only talk Rangers? I mean, look, obviously you see what I got in the background. You see my hat. You see what I'm wearing on my chest. Oh, actually, you guys can't because of the game day. But yeah, look, mainly Rangers. But what do you want to talk about with Seattle? I will definitely entertain a little Mariners chat. We are playing them. So look, drop it if you want. I don't mind talking about the other team at all. We're not going to hyper focus on them, but I'll definitely spend a little bit of time. You tell me. You just got to know, though, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It might not be an opinion you agree with, maybe a little homer energy, but I'm happy to throw out whatever you want to ask. You bring it. Let's keep on going here. Seager's on base streak still going, 30 games. That's pretty huge. Walk, I believe, extended it. And this is a career high for Corey, by the way. It's a career high for him. Good for him. Let's see. Trade picks and what they could do better. Well, right now, I don't think there's a whole lot with the offense that needs to be changed. Now, you look at the starting rotation, and there's a number of guys that I really like. I definitely like George Kirby. Talked about him. Logan Gilbert, I think, is an outstanding pitcher. You wonder if Seattle will think about upgrading and getting, or maybe either through free agency, maybe through a trade in the offseason. I don't know. I'd probably be more interested to hear from Mariners fans, honestly, what they think. Like, are you guys good with the pitchers you have? As I look at the starting pitching rotation for the Mariners, I think they could probably get one more ace in the mix. Like, it doesn't feel like they have like that just scary good. I know Brian Wu is an all-star, and he has been so good for the Mariners this year. It just feels like the Mariners need a guy that's just a little bit above where everybody else in that rotation is at right now. I don't know. Okay, look, I'm not saying that to be a troll or a hater. It feels like they've got a really good core of starting pitching, but they just don't have that dude that you give the ball to in Game 7 and he just shuts it down. I know Wu has been outstanding. Look, he hasn't done it consistently over a long period of time. I know Wu has been outstanding. But I just feel like the Mariners need to have that guy, that shutdown guy that you give the ball to in Game 7. Just feels like they're lacking it right now. I don't know how they get better at it, whether it's through free agency or through a trade, but that's my take. We keep going. When is Malley back? I think Malley is back in probably mid to late August. If Merrill Kelly pitches tomorrow, the Rangers win. If Leiter pitches, I think we lose. That's actually kind of how I feel. That might be an oversimplification, but I really do feel like if Merrill pitches tomorrow, we got a really good shot to win a ball game. If Leiter pitches tomorrow, I'm not feeling as good, but baseball is a crazy sport. You never know what could happen, but I'm going to feel a lot better if I get that notification. Merrill Kelly will be starting tonight's game against Seattle. I would love to see that come across my phone at work tomorrow. Why do I not like Leiter? It's not that I don't like Leiter. I don't want anybody to, get it twisted. I do like Leiter. I just feel like he's not consistent enough, and that is to be expected. But when you're going to stack Merrill Kelly, a guy that's pitched in World Series games and has been really good over the past few seasons, versus Jack Leiter, I think you know which one I'm going to choose. One thing that I'm actually kind of curious with about Jack Leiter, and I'm going to look this up right now, I want to see the home-away splits for Jack. Is there any kind of pattern with Jack? Does he pitch better at home than on the road? I haven't really been locked into this, so I'm going to look up the splits right now and see if there's anything we can figure out. So let's see here. Home games, 3.66 ERA. Home games, 3.66. Away games, 4.65. So he's given up about a run more per 9 innings on the road than he is at home. So I do think just the eye test for me, the feel, that's kind of what it felt like. It feels like he pitches better at home at Globe Life, and that's the case for a lot of pitchers. It's the case for a lot of pitchers, honestly. But with Jack Leiter, a full run better at home versus on the road. 40 innings pitched on the road, 21 earned runs given up. And let's see if we can find anything else. Here's the other stat that bothers me with Jack on the road. He's pitched 40 innings, right? 26 walks in 40 innings on the road. It's a much better ratio at home. 51 innings, 19 walks. Isn't that crazy? That's a pretty big difference. 51 innings, 19 walks at home. 40 innings, so he's pitched 10 less innings road versus home, but he's walked 7 more guys. So, Josh, it's more just like the road, a good offense. Seattle's a very high-quality offense, man. They've got some good names. Now, look, I don't think that they're unbeatable. And, again, not trying to throw shade, but no, I don't think Seattle and what they've got is unbeatable. But I think they are extremely highly competitive. And I think you are going to have to make quality pitches to beat them. It can be done. But the reality is Jack Leiter has been bad on the road. He has not been good on the road. And so with that being said, I don't feel super great about the start tomorrow. I hope to be wrong. One thing I don't like to do is just be a constant positive mouthpiece, and even in the face of cold, hard facts like what I just gave you, say, oh, yeah, he's going to dominate tomorrow. Because that's just disingenuous. We're looking at stats. We're trying to give you guys good analysis here. I just don't feel great. 4.65 ERA on the road, and you basically are walking a guy over 1.5 times an inning. Like a little bit less than that, actually. My bad on the math. You have almost, a half walk an inning? Like, not good. Just not great. Not awesome. All right, let's keep things rolling. I appreciate all y'all. I'm going to get back to YouTube here. We're getting late. We're after midnight Texas time right now. I mean, it's only 10 o'clock for me here in Vegas, but we are getting late. Late night baseball this week. We had all those late games against the Angels. Now we got more late games against the Mariners. Do we got some day games coming up this weekend? We have a day game on Saturday, right? Day game on Saturday, day game on Sunday. I'm kind of looking forward to that, honestly, because just the way it works out for me, especially now that my work is picking up a little bit more, I actually kind of like getting on the live like 7:30, 8 o'clock my time. After this, it's like a sprint to like get ready for bed and do it all again the next day. So all y'all in Texas staying up late right now, you guys are the real ones, seriously. All right, we keep going. Let me see what I missed here on YouTube. Yeah, I do agree, Coop. I'm going to take this a little out of context, but this is a crazy game. Like, anything can happen. Could Jack Leiter go out there and dominate tomorrow? Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a beautiful game. It's a crazy game. It could happen. But I would love to see the Merrill Kelly notification come across my phone. Yes, please. Yes, please. Look, I don't think this is a hot take. I do feel like Rangers do have the best pitching in baseball. The stats back that up, and the eye test backs it up. DeGrom, Evo, Malley. I'd really love to hear who and what rotation is better than that. What rotation's better than that? I would really enjoy hearing that. I don't know. Maybe the Mariners fans would pipe up a little bit. I still don't think Wu, Gilbert, Kirby is better than DeGrom, Evo, and then Merrill Kelly. And then you even throw in Malley in the mix, another good one. Wheeler, Suarez, Sanchez. That one's up there, Zane. I still give the nod to DeGrom and Evo and give it to Merrill Kelly because they've all been there, pitched in a World Series, and really pitched well. So for me, look, I know DeGrom technically hasn't pitched in a World Series, but he has pitched in October multiple times, tested sub-3 ERA in October for DeGrom. Kelly and Evo have both pitched in a World Series. Merrill Kelly pitched great in Game 2 of the World Series back in 23. It was the Diamondbacks' only win. It's more just the hitting, as Green Arrow is kind of pointing to here. It's more just the hitting. You've got to get the hitting right. Really got to get the hitting right here. That being said, in October, we know pitching usually is what dominates. And if you can get just a couple of big hits here or there, it can win you a ball game. Pitching definitely comes to the forefront in October. And so having the good pitching is awesome, but I agree. The hitting does have to come around, no doubt. Corbin pitched in a World Series as well. Josh, good catch. He pitched in a World Series as well. Look, I say this not arrogantly, but just based on what the Rangers have done. I mean, even Seattle, the Rangers have played incredibly close. This game was not indicative of all the other games that they've had against the Mariners, but they've played a ton of tight games against Seattle. Like, I don't think that there's a lot of a gap or a difference between the two teams. I think all in all, they're pretty evenly matched teams. I don't want to have the recency bias of the loss tonight or even a win tomorrow if the Rangers can pull it off. I think these two teams are pretty close to each other, actually. I do think Texas has better pitching, but obviously Seattle has a better offense. I would even maybe throw in the word much better offense right now from what I'm seeing on paper. I think Seattle's offense is better than Texas, clearly. I'll give the slight nod to the Rangers for pitching, but you look around the AL, there's not a lot of teams that the Rangers have played where you just felt like they were a tier above. I don't feel like the Yankees are a tier above. I don't feel like the Blue Jays are a tier above. I don't feel like the Tigers are a tier above. I don't feel like the Astros are a tier above. There's just nobody in the AL that I really fear. Hey, man, I don't want to run into those guys. There's nobody in the AL that I really feel that way about. And maybe Mariners fans feel the same way. I probably would. They've got a pretty good set of pitching. There's just not a juggernaut team right now in the American League that you really go up against and you're super worried about what might happen in the series. Maybe there's some teams worried about Texas. Maybe there's some teams that are going the ignorance is bliss route. I personally wouldn't want to run into DeGrom and Evo back-to-back. But that being said, I don't look at anybody else around the American League and get super worried. I really don't. Hey, if that's the case, I definitely respect the opinion. I don't think the Rangers have established themselves as some elite, unbeatable team in the American League either. So, I mean, look, touche. It's definitely not any kind of like clap back or diss to the Mariners. I know maybe it comes off that way, but it's really not. I don't think the Mariners have defined themselves as an elite team that is just far and above better than everybody else in the American League either. I think they are really good. I think the Rangers definitely have the potential to be a really good team too. I just don't feel like anybody in the American League has really separated themselves. That's just how I feel. Nobody unbeatable. And maybe you could say the same thing about Texas. I think you probably could at this point. But that's how I'm at. That's where I'm at with the American League for sure and all the other teams. Fully healthy Astros are scary. Nah. Sorry. Nah. Not there. Astros fully healthy. I mean, again, you throw in Jeremy Pena. I know like Jake Myers was hurt for a while. McCormick. Alvarez, I'll give you Alvarez. But I am not super worried about a lot of the Astros hitters beyond Alvarez. Paredes, he actually hit really well against the Rangers. Now he's out. I'm not super worried about Carlos Correa. That is a more sentimental move for Astros fans than anything. Carlos Correa, here's the way I think about Correa. And anybody that's a Houston fan listening right now, I want you to try not to see this as bias. I just want to speak some facts out loud about Carlos Correa. He's not having a terrible season. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good player. But doesn't it say something that Minnesota is kicking in that much salary? One of my Astros buddies actually brought this up to me. Like I said, one of the guys that I coach with loves the Astros from that area. And he basically made the point. I don't want to steal and claim it, but he's like, what does it say about Correa that the Twins are kicking in that much salary to get rid of him? Right? I mean, I don't know. That's probably the one rebuttal I would have to anybody that is super hype about the Carlos Correa trade. Why did the Twins kick in so much money to get rid of him if he was like this, amazing player? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not saying a change of scenery isn't going to do well for him, but I'm just saying the fact that the Twins are paying the Astros to basically take Correa off their hands, that's got to say something. And I got to agree with my buddy. I'm not saying Carlos Correa can't have some good games for the Astros. I just don't know that Correa is the difference maker that some Astros fans are making it out to be. I think it's more of a nice reunion. Could I make a comp that it might click with some people with the Correa trade? I kind of feel like it's like Josh Hamilton coming back in 2015 to the Rangers. Like, you're kind of getting him a little bit past the prime, a little bit banged up. I know Correa has dealt with some injuries. It kind of feels like when Hambone came back to the Rangers. It's sentimental. Everybody who's a Rangers fan loved it, but you weren't necessarily getting peak Josh Hamilton in 2015, 2016. I know that they did get a prospect back, but they absolutely paid a ton of money to Houston to take Carlos Correa off their hands. I don't know. All right, we keep going. What else we got? Yeah, Mariners beating us today. Well, that happens in baseball. You're not going to go 162-0. It's never been done. It's never been done. Being a Rangers fan in 2025, Kyle, I think he's just saying there's ups and downs. I don't think there's anything more to it. And I think he's right. There's a lot of ups and downs in 2025 being a Rangers fan. Like, literally think about today. Merrill Kelly, Phil Maton, Danny Colon, and you're freaking hype. And then you watch this game, and you're depressed. Like, that's what I think he means. It's tough being a Rangers fan in 2025. Kubert, I think that's probably going to be an option in the next couple of weeks if Jock doesn't figure it out. Dan, I'm going to bat Ozuna probably behind Adolis. I think that's a pretty natural place to bat him, don't you? If you put Adolis in the cleanup spot, his typical spot, kind of makes sense to have Ozuna in the 5-hole. I mean, I would think you go Ozuna, then after that, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Jonah Heim. I know you could probably mix Higgy in there somewhere too, but I think 5. I would probably go 5. What do you think? Dan, give me your thoughts. Where do you want to see him hit? Keep going. Dustin Harris got DFA'd. Zane, Dustin Harris did get DFA'd. Harris and Krim both got DFA'd as a result of all the trade acquisitions. I did not like it. I don't like DFAing Dustin Harris. I thought he showed he didn't even get that much time to actually be a starter, but dude could hit extra base hits, hit home runs. He was versatile. He could play outfield. Dustin Harris could play first base. Blaine Krim wasn't super versatile in the field, but dude was having a really good year down in AAA. I really don't get those DFAs. I really don't. Yeah, Josh, 52 games. Chu set that record back in 2018. Shin-Soo Choo, by the way, one of the most underrated Rangers of all time, in my opinion. I remember when they first signed Chu to that deal, there were some people that were kind of thinking that was a little bit of a bad contract. I think Chu really throughout his entire Rangers career did exactly what you paid him to do. Bro got on base a ton, could hit the long ball. I just think he was a very cerebral, smart player as well. Shin-Soo Choo, one of the most underrated Rangers, in my opinion. And so, look, 52 games. Corey Seager's got 22 more to go. I wouldn't put it past Seags to get it done, but that's tough. 52 games on base in a row. What is the major league record, by the way? MLB record on base streak. Let's see this, y'all. What is it? Ted Williams. This is fun. This is good baseball history, man. I love this stuff. So Ted Williams in 1949 playing for the Red Sox. 84 consecutive games on base. 84. That's wild, man. Look, could Seager do it? Are there enough games left for him to even do it this year? No, I don't think so. Because there's 52 games left. So even if he got on base every single game the rest of the season, he would be below that streak. He would have to take it into next season. 84 consecutive games, though. Ted Williams back in 1949. We're talking right after World War II, man. That is crazy. Fun stuff. I love looking up stuff like that. No, Coop, I don't think playoffs count. I don't think playoffs count towards that on-base streak. I think they do separate streaks for postseason. All right, Dan, let's see. What do you got here? Smith, Seager, Simeon, Garcia. Okay, so we're on the same page. Ozuna 5-hole. Langford, Carter, Young, and Higgy. Okay, respectable. I kind of wondered if they would ever consider Carter second leadoff in the 9-hole. I would prefer to get Evan Carter more at bats than less. That's the only downside of him playing 9. But I kind of like the idea of Carter 9, Simeon 1, and then you have, Josh Smith 1, and then Corey Seager coming up third. I kind of like that idea of you have this second leadoff hitter, right? Yeah, playoffs, right. Green Arrow, you're right on that. Playoffs don't count for the stats. All right, keep going here. Appreciate the follow, by the way. Thank you so much. Blaze, you haven't been following this entire time? Are you kidding me? Bro, man, I had to work hard to earn that follow. Feels like you've been hanging out forever, Blaze. You just started following? Hey, better late than never, my guy. I appreciate you. Thank you, by the way, Jason, for following as well. You're the man. Surprised the Rangers didn't sell? I'm not. No way. Rangers had to be buyers, man. I'm not shocked at all that the Rangers did this. All right, we keep going. Heim or Higgy? Right now, Higgy. Higgy DH. I think you got to go Higgy DH. Behind the dish, I'm more of a Heim fan. It's kind of a love-hate relationship, honestly. I like Heim better behind the plate. I like Higgy better at the plate hitting. So I think they're probably going to go Higgy DH if Jock Peterson doesn't work out. Yes, I do think the trades put the Rangers over the luxury tax. I was hearing somebody tell me, somebody was actually trying to tell me that the Diamondbacks might have kicked in money and we got under the luxury tax. I don't think so. I think we're going to be over the luxury tax. Let me see what I can figure out. But let me know. Any of my OGs, my diehards, you guys let me know. Did the Rangers definitely go over the luxury tax? I'm going to look it up while we're talking here, but I'm pretty sure they did. Best sports lineup of all time? I'm going to have to think about that. 44, I'm going to have to think about that for a second. On the fly, late at night after a long day, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you a 1 through 9 right now. But I definitely want peak Josh Hamilton in that lineup. That's what I know for sure. All right. Let's see. 241 million is obviously the threshold. I'm not seeing anything right now. Maybe Spotrac has updated things. Let me see if Spotrac is updated with the new acquisitions yet. Looks like they're under. I mean, Spotrac says they're under right now. It says they are at 237 million in total tax allocations. So, look, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. I thought they were over for sure. Austin, I'm sorry, man. I was hoping nobody would find me, but, I hit my 40-second bomb, but I secretly just love the Rangers. So every night after the game, after I do all the interviews, I hop on this Rangers pod, man. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Heard on the radio they most likely stayed under from Jared Sandler. Okay. That's what it's looking like. Because right now Spotrac has all of the guys on the roster. I'm seeing Merrill Kelly. I'm seeing Danny Colomb. I'm seeing Phil Maton. And look, Phil Maton, man, not costing much. So I think we're under, man. There you go. Rangers wild card rotations. Well, Rohan, that's going to be tough. It depends. If the Rangers lock up a playoff spot, they are going to work it so DeGrom and Evo can pitch game 1, game 2. Ideally, that's what happens if you're a Rangers fan. If the Rangers have to go all the way up to game 162 to make a playoff spot, you're not going to be able to do that, right? So hopefully the Rangers can lock up a playoff spot, and then you can totally throw whoever you want game 1, game 2, game 3. Bubba, you were at the game tonight? I'm sorry, my guy. I hate it when you go to a game and you have to watch a 0 from the offense. I mean, let's be real. It's fun watching good pitching. We all want to watch our team score runs. It's tough when you go to watch a shutout. I hate it, man. I'm sorry that happened. Sean, enjoy it. Hunter, enjoy it. Hopefully we get y'all back tomorrow. We'll see if Merrill Kelly saves the day and comes in and pitches. That would be phenomenal. Not sure what they got planned. We'll see what happens. All right, let me hide more comments here. Didn't they get rid of Barnhart? I thought they got rid of Barnhart, Dan. I thought they did. I don't know. Carter batting 6th has, is that real? JBJ, he has he's hitting almost 1,000 OPS batting in the 6 hole. That's crazy. That is wild. Yeah, they were interested in a third catcher. Actually, one of the Rangers guys I follow, Jamie Newberg, who I love. I think Jamie's awesome. A lot of good content. I would highly recommend going and following him on X if you don't. He commented, he quote tweeted a post that said that the Padres DFA'd Martin Maldonado. Obviously, a little history there with Maldonado. And I think he basically said, please, God, no. No Maldonado. Do not go pick up third catcher Martin Maldonado. I mean, look, I'm with him. I don't want Maldonado on the team, but I kind of wonder if they are going to peruse some of these catching options that maybe are on the open market, free agents. We'll see what they decide to do. Catchers last year was Kelly and Heim, and then they had Kisner too, right? It was Kisner, Kelly, and Heim. I think that they're going to continue to do a split, Green Arrow. I don't think they're going to give it to Higgy straight up over Heim. I think they're probably going to continue to do a little platoon. Exactly why I don't want Maldonado. Exactly why I don't want Maldonado. He can't hit a basketball with a racket. I appreciate the comedic relief, my guy. Thank you. That's how I feel. I don't care how good Maldonado is at catcher. Please do not pick him up. Please. All right, keep going. Birdman, appreciate the follow. Is there a way to preview the game for both Leiter and Kelly's numbers against the Ems batters? Yes. I'm going to try and get that worked out. All right. Speaking of, we're getting late in the show. We don't need to talk about the offense. It was terrible. We talked about Corey Seager. He was the lone bright spot. Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia and Rowdy also had hits, but it was bad. It was bad. Marcus Semien had a double. Everybody else had singles. It just was not a super great day for the offense. 0 for 4 runners in scoring position, 5 left on base. Kyle Higashioka had a passed ball. So there was a wild pitch by Rocker and a pass ball by Higgy. That's the one thing about Higgy that we talked about. Higgy is not very good at blocking. And so I actually asked the Discord because I was listening on the radio for the Rocker wild pitch that caused the Mariners to score that first run of the game. I'm like, could Higgy have stopped that? And they were like, no, he spiked it like 10 feet in front of the plate. I'm like, okay, fair. But Higgy is not good at blocking. Dude can frame, he cannot block, and he cannot throw runners out. He's terrible at those two things. Probably above average with the framing, terrible at blocking, terrible at throwing out runners. This isn't my opinion. These are advanced stats, proven things that you can look up. Internet's free. So this is no emotion. We're taking the emotion out of it. That's why Jonah Heim is going to continue to see time. That's why he's going to continue to see time for sure. Let's see. 7-2 against the Rangers this season. JR killing it. Mariners are killing it. That series in Arlington was so close, man. All those extra inning games. Those hurt, man. That was probably one of the more painful series I've had to experience covering the team. All those extra inning losses against the Mariners. Ugly. 8-2 now. Yeah, that's right. Who wins the AL West? I don't think the Rangers do. And look, if you don't like me because I made that comment, Rangers fans, I'm sorry. I think the Rangers make the playoffs. I don't think they win the West. I think somebody else wins the West, but I do think Rangers sneak into a wild card spot. I don't think Rangers are going to win the West. If they do, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I really don't care that much about the West. I know some of y'all might be saying, of course he doesn't care because they're not going to, they're 5 games out, 6 games out. Of course he's going to say that. Look, 2023, we just got in and we ended up winning the whole thing. I don't need an AL West title. I personally don't feel like the Rangers probably end up winning it, but I do think they make it in maybe second or third wild card spot. Probably likely third. We'll see what happens. I mean, look, it's possible for them to win the AL West. Don't get me wrong. But look, where they're at right now, they would have to go on a pretty big heater, and the Mariners or the Astros would have to collapse a little bit. I think it's more likely they make one of the wild card spots. Blaze, DFAing Jock is realistic. And this is the last thing I'm going to do before I do a preview, just because we're running out of time here. At least for me, I got to get to bed here in a little bit. But I think that DFAing Jock is realistic. Because when you DFA him, he goes on waivers. Who's going to pick up Jock Peterson? Nobody wants to pay Jock Peterson at a rate of $18.5 million a year. Nobody with these numbers. So for me, I think Jock would actually clear waivers. And then I think you would accept the AAA assignment. because Jock does not want to forfeit the contract. And if Jock rejects the assignment, he forfeits the money. So I don't think you're going to see Jock Peterson forfeit $18.5 million a year. So I think you'll see potentially Jock get DFA'd. I think it might happen. He can't be optioned. You can't just send the guy to AAA. But it could happen if it continues. Gio, I agree. He wasn't terrible today. He did draw a walk, but again, you haven't gotten a hit since you've been back. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. Brian, that is what would have to happen, right? I don't think he is going to decline the AAA assignment, because if you decline AAA and you elect free agency, you forfeit the contract. That's my understanding. If I'm getting that wrong, let me know, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't think that Jock is going to want to give up that money. I think it is the worst signing. I really do. I think it is the worst signing. I think we can confidently say that at this point. All right. By the way, standings. Let's talk standings around the AL West right now. So we have got currently Rangers down 5.5 games. Houston first, Seattle second, 4.5 games behind. So there's 2 games for all intents and purposes that separate Seattle and Texas. Seattle has the tiebreaker. So even if they're tied, Rangers really have to be a game better in order to beat them, truly. And so for all intents and purposes, you're 2 games out of second place right now. For the wild card, you're 1 game back. You're 1 game back of the wild card, man. And as we look at the wild card standings, right now it's Seattle a game up. You're 2 games behind Boston, and you are 3.5 games behind the Yankees. That Yankees gap was close a couple days ago, man. The Yankees have won 3 in a row. They kind of separated themselves a little bit from the pack. But, man, it was like a game and a half the other day. It's crazy. But the Rangers are right there. They're right there. Guardians are only 3 games back. Royals are only 3.5 games back of the third wild card spot. So you got the Royals and Guardians still holding on for dear life. And even the Rays, man. The Rays are only 4 games back. Anything can happen. Angels are only 4.5 back. Crazier things have happened. Think about what Detroit did last year. They sold at the deadline. They got hot, and they made the playoffs. It can happen. It really can. Imagine if we signed Pete Alonso instead. That would have been epic, Blaze. That would have been epic. I would have loved to have gotten Pete Alonso. We talked about it in the offseason on the show. It was just the money, man. They did not want to spend that much money. Did not want to spend that much. Green Arrow, I think it's a possibility. Now, I think the Angels have their limitations. Angels fan, yeah? By the way, everybody's welcome. I know y'all are going back in the chat. As long as it's not getting personal, that's the thing I always say, right? I hate it when people make it personal. Like, come on. If your trash talk isn't good enough just based on what's happened on the field, like, seriously, don't go to the personal stuff. Anyways, I don't want to get on a soapbox on that. I already talked about that earlier today. But everybody's welcome. So, Angels, I think the main limitation is the pitching, right? The pitching, to me, strikes me as the main reason why I don't feel super confident the Angels end up doing what you just said. Is it possible? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Angels have won multiple games in a row at times this year, right? What's the longest win streak? Do you know, Green Arrow? Feels like they've had a couple of nice little win streaks. So can they string together? For sure. Do I think they're a little bit limited, though, pitching? Yeah, I do. And the one thing about the Angels, the bullpen, I think, has like the second or third worst ERA in the league. I looked that up right before the Angels series, and it was like second worst in the league. I think those are the Angels' main limitations, right? The pitching. Feels like they've actually got a pretty good lineup. I don't mind the Angels lineup at all. You guys know I love Taylor Ward. Think he's a great player. Mike Trout. Mike Trout's one of my favorite non-Rangers to watch. Bro kills the Rangers, feels like every time he plays us. But probably one of my favorite non-Rangers to watch play the game. I think the Angels actually have a pretty formidable offense. It's just the pitching. And I just don't know that the pitching holds up well enough for them to overtake teams like the Rangers or the Mariners. I think it's going to be tough. Mike Trout's struggling, but doesn't he still have like a pretty high OPS? feel like the OPS for Trout has been pretty high still. Am I wrong on that? I thought it was still like over 800. I'm going to look it up right now on Trout. Mike Trout this season, the OPS is at 823. I mean, that's still an above average OPS. I wouldn't say elite. I think elite OPS, you have to be in the 900s, but this is an above average OPS, 823. The average, 235. It's a little low. What's a little wild is Mike Trout with only one WAR, 1.0 on the WAR. That's a little wild for him. Usually he, at this point in the year, is up above 5 without a doubt, but just at a little bit of a different spot right now, right? A little bit of a different spot in his career. Still really good, 19 bombs. I don't know. Look, Mike Trout looks pretty good right now with some of these Rangers in the lineup. I will say that. Look, I'm not saying Mike Trout is what he once was, but I'll take Mike Trout's 823 OPS over some of the dudes we've had in the lineup. Do I think the Rangers wanted O'Hearn and Laureano? I would have liked Laureano as a good right-handed bat. I don't think that O'Hearn would have been the best of fits, but I think the Rangers were interested in O'Hearn for sure. All right, we've done standings. Let's go ahead and let's preview the game real quick for tomorrow. And then after that, we will wrap it up for the night. So tomorrow, Friday, Rangers play, same time. Actually, later, 7:10 tomorrow. My time, 7:10, 9:10 for you guys in Texas. So tonight was an 8:40 start. It's 9:10 start tomorrow. Leiter versus Logan Gilbert. Against Leiter, Arozarena, 3 for 9. Canzone, 0 for 3. Crawford, 2 for 10 against Jack Leiter in his career. Mitch Garver, 1 for 3. Garv didn't play tonight, right? Garv wasn't in the lineup tonight. Maybe he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. Masterboni, 0 for 2. Moore, the second baseman. And I don't know if he's an everyday guy or not, but he hasn't gotten in at bat against Leiter. Naylor, he is 1 for 1 with a homer, with a 3-run bomb. Polanco, 2 for 7. Big Dumper, looks like 3 for 8 with 2 bombs. Watch out for Big Dumper tomorrow. I mean me. Rodriguez, he is 6 for 11 with 2 bombs. So these are the 2 guys you got to look out for. Don't give Big Dumper anything good tomorrow, and look out for J-Rod, man. Those are the 2 guys that rake. Naylor, only 1 AB. I don't know if I can say that that's totally legit. 1 at bat, could be anything. Maybe you throw him in there, but definitely Cal Raleigh and J-Rod. Solano and Suarez don't have any ABs against Leiter. Young, another second baseman. He had the triple and the bomb tonight, right? 0 for 3. Now, Logan Gilbert against the Rangers. Logan Gilbert, probable starter for Seattle. Carter, 1 for 9 in his career against Logan Gilbert. Ezekiel Duran, 1 for 11. Don't think we'll see Duran tomorrow. Adolis Garcia, 2 homers off Gilbert, but 184 batting average in 38 career ABs. So Gilbert's had his number more often than not, but Dolly has taken him deep a couple of times. Swaggerty, 0 for 2. Jonah Heim, 6 for 24 with a home run. I bet we see Jonah Heim tomorrow. Kyle Higashioka, 1 for 4 with a home run. Maybe we go double catcher lineup tomorrow. You see Higgy DH, Heim catch. I think that'll be pretty likely. With Josh Young out, I think Josh Young's going to be out again tomorrow. The double catcher lineup feels inevitable. Josh Young, by the way, 0 for 14 against Gilbert, so probably a good day to sit Josh Young again, in all honesty. Wyatt Langford, 1 for 7. Jock Peterson, 2 for 10. Corey Seager. Siegs has hit Gilbert well. The numbers, I believe, are 8 for 25. 320 batting average, 993 OPS against Logan Gilbert is Corey Seager with a home run. Marcus Semien does have a home run against Gilbert, but a 114 average through 35 ABs. So kind of like Dolly, it's taking him deep, maybe a little confidence from that, but by and large, Gilbert has shut down Marcus Semien. And Josh Smith, 176 batting average in 17 ABs. Rowdy Tellez, he does have 6 at-bats against Gilbert. He's 0 for 6. There we go. So, look, Rangers, Seager, good numbers. And maybe you throw in Jonah Heim, 6 for 24 with a home run. A lot of not so hot after that. Although, what happened in the game that Gilbert started earlier in the season against Texas? Let's go back to that game. Gilbert game log here against Texas. 5 innings, 1 earned run. So the Rangers were able to make him work a little bit. He had 7 Ks. So it was a pretty good outing. Then he got roughed up in Texas, right? He pitched 5 1/3, 4 earned runs, homer. That game did not go so well. So let me actually pull up that game. So that was June 27th. And let's go to the home runs. Corey Seager hit a home run off of him. So that was Seager hitting the home run off Gilbert. So Gilbert did not have a good start against Texas last time out. So he's had 1 good start, 1 bad start against Texas this year. We'll see what happens. Young, I think, is definitely sitting. I think Young is going to be out with the calf. I think Bochy said a couple of games, so I don't think we're going to see Young regardless. Leiter faced the Guardians last season and was terrible. It was probably his 3rd start, though. Yeah, Seager's pretty good against Gilbert. He is pretty good against Gilbert, that's for sure. All right, y'all. Hey, real quick, special shout-out and a thank you to all my paid subscribers and paid members on YouTube. We had somebody on TikTok, brand new, subscribe. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so, so much. And look, if you want to take your support of the show to the next level, you've been following along a little bit, you like what we're doing here at Ride on Rangers, I'd appreciate you considering hitting that subscribe button right next to the chat. It's $2.99 a month. Get you access to our exclusive Ride on Rangers Discord. And look, if you are on YouTube or X, you will have to do a little bit of copying and pasting here. But we are going to throw the link for the YouTube membership onto the chat. You have to copy and paste it. But look, appreciate the consideration for that. Any support is helpful. Just watching the show is a big help. Liking it, commenting, following, passing this on to somebody else, sharing it. I really appreciate it. I don't take any support of the show for granted. You guys are a big reason this show continues to get bigger and bigger, and I thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Let me keep rolling here. I'll check comments one more time. Sorry for tomorrow, preemptive condolences. I'm going to remember that one. Hey, appreciate all y'all. It was fun hanging out. I'm going to start getting ready for bed here. Got work tomorrow. Going to hit the hay, try and flush this one out the system, and then come back tomorrow night ready to bring y'all some more great analysis. 8th inning, 9th inning, and then we'll do post-game again as well. That's the plan. Hopefully Rangers bats can come out and do a little bit better than tonight. Shouldn't be hard, seeing as the Rangers put up a big fat 0. Hope all y'all have a great rest of your Thursday night. A good Friday tomorrow. Friday's always a good day, man. We got some good Friday night baseball coming up on the menu. I love it. Hope you guys come back tomorrow. Please come back and hang out. And look, if you're following, if you're not following, you definitely need to be. This is what we do just about every night. So if you're sitting there, you haven't quite followed along yet, I'd appreciate you hit that follow button. Let's keep growing this good group of people we got talking ball. Fans from all backgrounds. I love it. That was the goal when I first started this a couple years ago. You guys are making it happen. So grateful. Thank you. Hope y'all have a good night. We'll talk soon. And as I always say to end every show, God bless